You're listening to the Jaybird Watching Podcast. We are the official ballroom chat for everything Toronto Blue Jays baseball, from game highlights to rumors and all the stuff in between. Here's your host, Craig Borden, with co-host Jason Lyons and Liz McGuire. Now let's talk some Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Hello and good evening, all you wonderful Toronto Blue Jays fans. Craig Borden here with you live on Jaybird Watching, presented by our wonderful friends at the Jaybirdie Baseball Company. First things first, Jason, how the hell is the West Coast? It looks sunny outside that window there, bud.
Yeah, it is. It's actually, we had one of the largest storms we've ever had in the history of the city of Vancouver a couple of nights ago, like to the point where people were turning off the TVs and going outside and watching. There was 70,000 electrical strikes in like 3.5 hours. It was incredible to watch, like mind-blowingly cool to watch. Like I've been in some cool ones down in Florida and some other places where, you know, everything is just electric. That's how this was. It was like a tropical storm in Vancouver. So it was pretty cool, but what usually comes after that is a couple of really beautiful days. So it's really temperate and, you know, it's not smoking hot. It's actually quite lovely and beautiful golf weather. Not that I've been out playing, but I've played a lot lately.
I'm feeling like a Thor reference going on here. Like Loki's going, it's not the thunder that scares me. It's what follows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, and it's good. The Vancouver Canadians are on a bit of a heater right now as well. So that's always good when the Jays farm team can kick a little ass. And so I'm going Friday. I'm going to try and interview JoJo Parker. I'm excited about that. I'm going to give that a shot. So
nice.
Yeah, all
good.
Hi
to our friends at the Nat Bailey.
Yep.
Around with Tyler and Jose.
Tyler and the boys.
Good times. So obviously we have a third member of this equation this evening. Jacob Millen, here we are here from our resident Royals expert with the Believe Network. How are we doing, Jacob?
I'm doing all right. I don't know if I'm going to live up to that Royals expert monitor, but I'll do my best impression of it at least.
At least barroom chat goofball level, like we tend to be. That's
exactly.
Kind of what we're aiming for on this show. It's a low bar, but we're good. So. On that note, tell us a little bit about your show and what you have going on in the pipe, and give us a little rundown, as obviously I think you guys have been mutual levels of torture this season watching baseball. I'd love to hear your thoughts as far as your Royal fandom this season.
Well, so here's the thing. You know, it's the Toronto Blue Jays regression this season. Like y'all are well acquainted with it, unfortunately, for better and much worse, I would say. But like the Royals were, you know, for once a popular national pick to be a contender in the AL Central. That has been furthest from the truth this season. You know, right now they are riding that 9-game winning streak right now. They took that up to Toronto and have kept it going in game 1. You know, just however, it's still been a disappointing season overall. You know, Bobby Witt Jr. is doing his thing. He's doing the superstar thing, but a lot of inconsistency, a lot of injuries, and you know, we weren't projecting a team just hoping to avoid 100 losses, which I would hope that they have after this heater, but I never know with this team, you know.
And there would be the wonderful, crazy, gruesome part of what is the 162 Major League Baseball day grind. And we're very happy to have you here because the Blue Jays are obviously playing the Royals twice over the next week. And obviously this would be to talk a little history really quickly before we, get our other guest on here to chit chat on. But when you guys are rolling into town on a 9-game heater, including the win last night, I don't know too much about the pitching you guys have had because you, like us, have had this haphazardry of what's been going on the mound. What do you think's been the Achilles heel for your guys' Royals this year?
I mean, holy smokes! It's just been major injuries, right? It's not been like nitpicking injuries. It's been a lot of major things. Like we project the 2027 roster. I know that's a good ways away. That's a whole holiday season away. But the reality is the Royals are going to start the season with a rotation's worth of arms on the 60-day IL. You know, multiple Tommy John surgeries. Chris Bubich has been dealing with his issues. Cole Reagans has been dealing with his issues. Like, there's a lot of – this team was going into the season with, like, okay, we got some depth at pitching. We're going to be good. We can trade away from that to get some bats. However, you know, when Randy Dobnak is one of the best starters for this team right now, and
He wasn't even a starter 7 starts ago.
no, it has very much been a surprise to many Royals fans to the level that he's been performing.
No, he's looked pretty good from what I've seen. And I had to look him up this morning for the Jays' latest show this morning, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I got it. I see it." A few years ago, I happened to be in the stands when Cole Reagans was his first season as a Royal, and watching him and goofing around, having a great time. And the Royals jumped out to an insane lead. It was like a 5-0 lead in the first inning or something like that. Reagans was unhittable for the first 5 innings. And then I don't know what hamster fell off the wheel in the 6th. He walked a guy, hit a guy, walked another guy, and then watched, I forget who hit it, but a grand slam, and we all game at that point. So Blue Jays would eventually win that one 8-7.
Yeah, a lot of Royals games have gone that way this year, and it primarily not on the starters, but on the bullpen. You know, the Royals came into the season with the MLB saves leader Carlos Estevez back on the roster. He's pitched a third of an inning for this team this season. Lucas Urseg just got demoted to AAA Omaha earlier on this month. Matt Strom, who's supposed to be southpaw, making his return to the organization after having success elsewhere. Well, he did not have any success in Royals Blue. Once again, got DFA'd himself. So it is a lot of things have gone wrong for the Royals, but a lot of things are going right for him right now.
Good deal.
Now, Jacob,
Jason, you got?
Yeah, I find it interesting. You know, you don't really dig into we try and find out as much info as we can on the opposition as they're coming in, and we just talk general baseball. But it's been interesting for me to take a look at the Royals, not only this season but the last couple of seasons. This season in particular, though, they do mirror this Blue Jays team quite a bit. Like, when I started to look at it, I was like, wow, this is uncanny. Like, like
clones.
Other than the stolen, other than Witt and the stolen bases, it's so when you're looking at this, as a person who's are you right in Kansas City?
No, I'm from Kansas originally. I'm out in Virginia right now.
But you must hear from the fan base quite a bit about, the sky is falling. Oh, we're great. The sky is falling. Oh, we're great. So, we dictate this as a nation. I mean, obviously Craig's in just below.
I'm the weird one.
Just right
I'm the American
outside of
Blue
Buffalo in America. And I'm in Vancouver on the other coast of Canada. We get these big, ebbs and flows. Do you guys experience that as a fan base as significantly as maybe we see the Jays or the Yankees or the Braves?
So what I would say is no, because the thing is, this team for most of my adult life outside of the World Series runs in 14 and 15, the Royals have been a losing organization. Just the fan base has grown accustomed to that, and there's plenty of positives to highlight. And we try to focus on that, but overall it's okay. Well, we need to move on from the front office leadership. Oh, we need to move on from the dugout leadership and things like that. That is still the drumbeat that this fan base is hitting right now. And that's why I try to enjoy these blips as much as I can. It's good, it's great, and would just try to keep it rolling as much as we can and smile, because if we ain't smiling, we're crying.
Yeah.
I
got one more, Craig, before. Can you possibly explain Sal Perez to me?
I love it.
How old is Sal?
He eats
41?
rusty nails and shit like that constantly, because he's just the grittiest baseball player of all time.
I mean,
as far
come
as
on.
Yeah, it is. So here's the thing. Sal, we all know how physically demanding the catching position is, especially at the MLB level. And here's the thing. He's in his age 36 season. All those, there's only so much
36.
Yeah, only.
Yeah, he just looks like he's 900 years old as a baseball player.
He got his 7th career stolen base the other day. And what did you see the video of him sliding into second? Holy smokes! It was
glorious.
He said he slid further or earlier so he could get to the base faster. He's aware of his limitations, but it's been a rough season from him. Primarily focusing on those positives, right? He just got the franchise home run record. That's one thing that's worth celebrating. There's a lot of positive vibes that he brings. but that can only overshadow his underproduction so much.
Yep. Good deal. So on that note, Jason, I think we have our other guest waiting in the grain room. So Jacob, prediction, who do you think is going to be the standout for your Kansas City Royals in this series against the Toronto Blue Jays? And seeing we might not have you back next week because of the weird timing with the series and stuff, who do you think might be that standout once you guys get back to home?
I definitely think it's going to be Jack Caglione. He's returning to the lineup tonight. He's been dealing with some of that ankle soreness in the outfield. That's been a popular talking point amongst fans, but I definitely expect him to shine up there in Toronto.
Yeah, that ballpark is fit for somebody like Jake Caglione, is the unfortunate catch for Blue Jays fans. But to the end of the day, he is a hell of a ball player. I am very jealous that he gets to get penciled into your guys' lineup every day because, boy, is he a ball player.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. It's a joy to watch him play.
Jason, any last minute questions here before we give Jacob his shameless self-promoting?
Yeah, Jake, just, thanks very much. I think, this is probably a really good start for some cross-mogenation of casts and information and all the rest of that. We'd love to have you back. Hopefully maybe some playoff action. If the Royals are in the playoffs and the Jays are not, then maybe we could drag you back here, kicking and screaming, talk about it. But yeah, we just like to get, some different input from some different people. And, we're just trying this one out, and you did a great job, and we're excited that you're part of the Jaybird watching family now.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, fellas. Again, Royals Rundown Podcast. You can find us wherever the heck you're listening to this podcast at. You can find us on social media as well. So I appreciate you guys having me on. And, hey, go Royals.
Yeah, and thank you for being that expert for the Royals. And
maybe after this series, go Royals. And then in the next series, they can skip that one too, and then they can go. Then go Royals.
Every other. That'll work.
Every other.
All right.
Go Royals.
We'll take it. Thanks, guys.
Good deal.
See you,
Cheers, Jacob. All right, Jason. So now we have our buddy Billy the Batboy joining us live from what is one of the coolest studios I've actually gotten to see in a while, man. That's a hell of a setup.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me. It's a pleasure to be on here.
So, Billy, I know you and I have been texting back and forth on LinkedIn and whatnot for a little bit, but obviously I'm assuming many of the Blue Jay fans haven't seen a lot of your work. I saw an incredible, wonderful Dylan Cease interview while they were in New York. I was very happy and fortunate to catch that one. But to that point, I'd love to hear a little bit, just tell the Blue Jays fans about yourself a little bit to start off here, and then we're going to dive into plenty of baseball talk.
No, for sure. No, thank you very much. So, yeah, I'm a guy in the Jersey area here near New York. Grew up here in Jersey and just always loved baseball. And I wanted to find a way to get involved with it. So when I was 11 years old, I had this local independent baseball team that was in my hometown. And I figured, man, if I can get involved with that team, that would set me up pretty good for a potential career in baseball. So that's what I did. I ended up becoming a bat boy. I asked one of the coaches one day when I was 10 years old if there's a way that I can get involved. My dad was there with me. We were trying to figure out a way to get me in the mix. And year in 2013, they said, yeah, we need an extra bat boy. Come on down, get involved. And that's really the beginning of my whole journey in baseball. And from there, just had a lot of experiences around professional players. And at the independent level, it's interesting because you had players who were former single A, double A, triple A, big leaguers. And it was a whole mixture, a melting pot of professional athletes. And it was a great learning experience. It was a bit of a light environment. And meanwhile, these guys are still trying to win and get to back to affiliated ball. So definitely a great opportunity there, man. Yeah,
I love minor league baseball.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm very fortunately blessed, just like Jason is, to have teams. I'm in Rochester, New York, so I have the wonderful plethora that is the Thruway League, basically for the International League at AAA. Jason is literally right down the street from the Vancouver Canadians, in which he is hoping to catch JoJo Parker's wonderful attention over the next couple of days. But it's a beautiful thing to be able to get into the game that way. You've had a wonderful story, but Jason, do you have anything you want to add to that as we obviously dive further into this part here?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was super interesting. I read your story. I knew a little bit about, Craig had mentioned a little while back about, and I was familiar from the interwebs. But yeah, I mean, I think the stuff with the kids' books is so cool. I think that, as a, I'm a dad of 15-year-old twin boys that still play at a very high level. I've looked at the books, and there was we had a kid who played hockey up here. His dad played for the St. Louis Blues. His name was Brady Shaw, and a friend of theirs wrote these books called Brady, and they talked about what it was like to be a young kid, where your dad was in America, your mom was in Canada, or your family was in Canada, and you played hockey and you loved all this different stuff. It was just a really neat way to express a lot of those things that, maybe kids don't get a direct way to deal with. And, so I looked at some of the books, and I always love it when someone wants to give back at the youngest of ages, to try and get your mind thinking about how you can participate in the game. Both of my sons want to be in baseball, and to have a movie like Moneyball where we watch that and they're both like, wait a second, we can just be smart and we can stay involved with baseball. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you can be super smart and you can make a ton of money in baseball. So I appreciate what you do. I know that's something we probably want to, at least talk about. We're going to let the Yankees fandom allow. We're not even going to. It doesn't even exist. We're all one on this podcast today.
Yeah.
Because it's for
Happy
the
to have a
greater
beer.
good.
Oh, man.
It's for the greater good.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, being a Yankee fan is interesting. I feel like I'm not one of those crazy fans who's, throwing beers all over the place and punching TVs and screaming at opposing players. I'm not that kind of guy, but I respect all teams throughout the league and players. And that's one of the great parts about it. As a Batboy, when I was a kid, I was working with players from all over the league, players who had experiences in all different organizations. So you kind of root for players who are all over the place, not just the one team.
And it's interesting you would say that, because I feel like my kids who are 15, so, I feel like their whole generation doesn't have teams they cheer for. Like where we grew up and you sort of attach yourself to a team. I didn't have much choice living in Canada. I mean, we only had the one really, like the Expos were a bit of a flash in the pan. And they were gone, as soon as my formative baseball years started. So I always find it interesting as a Canadian. All of my friends, every single one of them that's involved in baseball has a team that they like down south. And I'm always surprised that one of the top teams that's very popular is the Phillies. And I don't know why it is. I don't know if just based on age, like guys that are in their sort of late 40s, early 50s, like that was like the sort of Mike Schmidt, and they were a good team back then. And I don't know. Like, I mean, it just seems like, so when you're down there in New York, like, do you see a lot of, like, if you ever go, if the Jays are playing, do you ever see Jays jerseys out and about? Because as far as we can see, the Jays seem to travel well. Yankees fans are everywhere. You can find them everywhere. But
yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting thing. I'd say I usually see opposing jerseys usually when the team's in town. I really don't see many Blue Jays jerseys in particular, aside from at the ballpark when they're in town. I do have to say, though, when I was growing up, obviously if you're a Yankee fan or a Mets fan or whatever, I did see quite a few random jerseys pop up, like a star player in the league, such as a Bryce Harper or Mike Trout. Trout's from Jersey, too, more South Jersey. But you'll see occasional random jerseys pop up as somebody's favorite player who's not on their team. So I did see quite a bit of that. But usually I honestly don't see many of those. Sometimes you'll see a legend like Clemente or Jackie Robinson or something like that.
Yeah.
But typically not Blue Jays, man. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just guilty by geography, unfortunately.
Geography might be bad on that one. American League East might be bad on that one, too.
As a person that's roamed around in New York City plenty, there's plenty of random bars you can stumble into that are definitely more Canadian hockey bars, and you see a Blue Jay jersey pop in and out of. That's the beautiful fun part. That is a melting pot of a city like New York, Toronto, all these wonderful places that we all get to travel to and see the world, right? Yeah. But back to where your fandom start, or not your fandom, but at least your catalyst in the baseball industry. Like you mentioned, doing the Batboy thing, and you worked your way out of that because obviously clear passion of the game. Yeah. And that was one of the things that obviously drew me to the wanting to make sure I initiated a conversation here. What was that next step that was like, okay, great, you figured this part out. Did you have that mentor, that person that you leaned on, or was there just an all of a sudden door that was opened from that situation being with the minor league club?
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like each part of the journey, there's been another mentor figure that emerged. So my parents are obviously those are my top advisors right there. But I feel like as I got older and I became a bat boy. I had some coaches there or players there who really just gave me some wisdom. But then after that, a couple years after, when I wanted to get into media, and I said, I have this access with these players. Let's start interviewing players. I then had some teachers at school who were involved with media who were able to teach me how to edit the right way. And then as I got into college, I had certain professors who gave me so much wisdom about some of the things that I was talking to players about. A lot of what I talked to players about was about advice for younger athletes and wisdom, as you mentioned, just helping kids improve. And I felt like that was an area that I needed to hear some positivity in. And that's why I talked to the players a lot about it. And I then had mentors in college and even outside of school that really helped out a lot. So got to give a shout out to Dr. Gilbert, my sports psychology professor. Sports psychology is so important because the mental game, if you don't have your mental, you're not going to be a very good player. Yeah. And then I'd say right now, Ray Negron with the Yankees. He was a longtime bat boy for the Yankees, and he was caught by George Steinbrenner spray painting outside the stadium. And he brought him in, Steinbrenner did, and he gave him a second shot, a second chance when, instead of locking him up, he ended up bringing him out of there and said, you know what, you're going to work for the team and you're going to help us and do what you can to pay off that debt of, a bit of trouble there. So, people like that who have now spent decades in baseball, he's spent over 50 years in baseball. Those guys are unbelievable. And the wisdom they have is unbelievable. And they want to pour into the next generation. I feel like it's a matter of finding those right people who are not jealous people, who are not envious of you. They want to truly help. And there are some great people in baseball who really, truly do want to help others. And that's what we all have to find in our lives, different people who want to see others do well. And I feel like you just pass it on that way.
Yeah.
Also, the Bat Boy has such a unique, it's such a, and when I was sort of prepping for this, I kept thinking in my head, the Bat Boy has heard some stuff that no one else has heard. And he probably wasn't intended to hear those things. But the insight and the stories, like we have some older Jays players that come on and they always, have great stories, ones that no one's ever heard or thought about. But I mean, this Bat Boy one would take it to a whole new level. Like, I mean, it's like the cop that's sitting in the dugout. Like, they must hear stuff and just be like, I can't repeat that ever,
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And that's the thing that they really appreciate, the players. They trust you. They know that you're not going to go and talk on their backs, and you have this camaraderie with them. And they really the highs and lows that they're going through, because baseball's a long season and you never know. There are challenges that you deal with, slumps that you go through, and you see them sometimes. And they know, man, you're gonna do what you can to protect and help them out a bit. But obviously, I don't have the stories of players you don't know, because a lot of it's minor leaguers and there are some who broke through and did make it, but man, stories that some of these bat boys at the big league level have, I'm sure they're pretty insane.
I still think the most random one we got was Travis Snyder of the Blue Jays telling us about how he hit the home run with a mustache. It was a fake mustache that he was wearing in honor of Cito Gaston, and Cito mustache. And Rance Molinas told us the one about the people that climbed the foul pole at Old Exhibition Stadium. That was a good one. So there's been a lot.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's a lot of great stories we've gotten.
Yeah, like my kids are just next year old enough to potentially be Bat Boys, and you have to apply to be a Canadians Bat Boy. I think 16 is probably a tough year to be doing it, because there are day games, and it is a fairly significant commitment if you're doing it. But I've been such an equipment geek my whole life. I'd go nuts with the gear. Like, it would be all encompassing for me, just like the gear, the change it, like new cleats, new bats, stuff. I'd be all over that stuff. I love it so much.
Yeah. Jason's the one that basically blows up all of our Instagram things with a bajillion giveaways every day. With he's trying to get a glove here, a bat there.
Right. Yeah. I got to say, though, it's a really cool experience. It was probably the favorite job I've ever had, the best job I've ever had. I think you could put me in any position now in baseball, and I'll still think that the bat boy would be the best role I could ever have again. That it was just such a unique thing. And when you're a younger kid, it's like a dream, and players are like your older brothers. So it was always very special.
That is really
Did you
nifty.
get to? Did you ever get to take BP or anything like? Did they allow you to go and I know that the kids that do the Seas games every now and again they bring their stuff and they long toss and they they'll take grounders and did you ever get to hit BP or any of that fun stuff?
Yeah, so it's funny. I didn't have to work every game, but I would still show up anyway. I still wanted to be there and support the guys and everything. So I would go out there and shag balls during BP, and occasionally I would step in the cage there and hit. And even as I got older, we'd go in the back sometimes by the cage, and I'd soft toss to them, front toss, and it depends. Every player's different, but you kind of form some bonds with certain ones, and they're like, "Yeah, get in the cage, I'll throw to you," or "Hey, I need some help with some toss." So you get some cool experience with that. But I mean, shagging balls, hitting a ball really hard, young kid, the ball's kind of dragged down with it too. So it's the thing that it's better. The name of the game is all about getting better in whatever you were doing, and all those guys are so driven to become better players and people, and they saw that in me, and they see people who show up every day like that, and they want to help them.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was still muted. So I guess a good question would be that did you end up getting good hitting tips, I guess, from like George Costanza? Because, he's hitting.
Yeah, right. I know. They did a bobblehead stadium for him yesterday, so
that's perfect.
But yeah, I mean, they would give me some good tips. I mean, I as I got older, I became more of a pitcher than a hitter. I just forgot how to hit as I got older. But yeah, they would be awesome. I could just walk up to anybody, and they would give me any tips I'd need. And I did a few lessons with a few of them, and just to get some extra work in. And it was you had this right in the backyard, 10 minutes away from my house. You have pro guys who are throwing here. And a few of the notable guys, Fernando Cruz on the Yankees is one of them. We have Robert Stock pitching for the Mets tonight, and he's another guy who I worked with the same year in 2016, and there were others too. So it's crazy. You watch them play one day here, and then years later they're at the big level, and you see that hard work pay off.
There you go. So I don't know if it's just me, but you're kind of cutting in and out a little bit. I don't know if it's maybe easier just to turn off the video feed or something, maybe, and we can just hear you. I don't know, Jason. Is it just
Transformers? Me? No, it's definitely. Yeah. I actually just emailed you or texted you about it as it was getting worse and worse.
Okay.
Hear me
now?
All good.
Yeah.
Technology is what it is.
Like I said, I think it's because the video is kind of chopping in and out on you a little bit. It might be just your internet connections being mean.
Let's see. Can you hear me? All good?
Yeah, we're still hearing you fine.
Okay, beautiful.
Perfect. So on that note, like I said, you get all these crazy fun people that you've interacted with. You've obviously moved into that next piece of things that you have been interviewing, and you've had a great media career, and you've been doing what you've been doing with everything and the publishing and all that. Who have been some of the people that have been the standouts in that conversation that you like I said, I mentioned I saw your Dylan Cease interview. I've seen a few others recently that were in your feed that I was like, oh yeah, David Cohn had to have been a fun conversation.
Yeah, I was about to say David Cohn because he's always given me some good stuff throughout the years. He's been great just to chat with at these different events. I talked to John Schneider the other day too, so I just posted a clip with him, some of the Jays guys. So that was a cool thing to just be able to meet some of the Blue Jays players and coaches. And aside from them, I mean, Darryl Strawberry, some of these retired guys. I mean, unbelievable. And some players who have some wisdom. And it's interesting. Sometimes a player might have this on-field persona that you might have remembered, and then off the field they might be a different kind of guy, or they might just they might have grown, or it's just so interesting to get to know them as people and just get some of this advice for the next generation. So
we had a similar conversation in the last few weeks with they've been airing a documentary in Toronto and Canada for the Blue Jays 50th anniversary. Nice. The little look behind the curtain of like what George Bell and some of the classic guys are. Obviously Jose Bautista is probably the more recognizable, or Josh Donaldson, as far as the you don't want to play against that guy type of person mantra or deal with the shenanigans. But in that locker room, they were the right people in the right time and made it work, and completely different on and off the field, to your point.
Sure.
And I could see somebody like Darryl Strawberry being one of those guys that's just uber locked in during the game.
Yeah.
Because he definitely didn't hear everybody yelling Daryl like in the Simpsons episode at him, you know.
No, it's true. It's funny. A couple years ago, I talked to Chris Colabello, who was with you guys for a bit, and he was like,
Chris.
Yeah. He said Donaldson was the biggest trash talker. He said he was a good trash talker with with the guys out there on the field. So
still happening now. He's ripping guys. He's on that podcast with Russell Martin, and he does not hold back. He is not ashamed to burn a bridge. He does not mind calling guys out on their stuff. One of the ones I think, and I don't know if you have you ever met CC Sabathia?
I have, but we haven't really like briefly as a but I get to talk to him.
Yeah, I just watched the thing on him. I was. I watched the thing on him, and I found it really interesting. Thinking, just watching him through his whole career, he was so locked. And then they're doing this interview, and he's like the goofiest. Like it was. I'm like, this can't be the same dude. Like it can't be the same guy. And it is. I mean, and it's like you said, like especially pitchers, they have to have such an odd persona. There's no other sport that has to dictate where you have to have that solo persona like that.
Right.
And when you like, and David Cohn was another one who I thought was a very serious dude, and he does not strike me based on what I've seen on the Blue Jay stuff as being all that serious of a dude. Seems like a really
he's
nice,
my favorite
really
part
funny,
of having to watch the Yankees play the Blue Jays on the Yes Network
him.
here in Rochester, because at least I get to have David Cohn pretty much every time they're playing the Blue Jays.
100%,
who gives me a little balance. No ding to Michael K. I just want him to make sure he pronounces our guys' names right.
Right.
My biggest gripe.
Oh man, no, Cohn's great, and that's the thing. You never know those personalities. Like sometimes they retire, and then you get them on air. So they're be a really good in-depth baseball mind and give you some good stuff. Even Dr. Clemens right now.
Oh, Roger's been a treat to watch on social media and things over the last few years, because he's found that a fun way of having that good voice to everything.
Right.
I think his son Cody has
not just
helped.
Rocket.
Yeah, I think I think his son Cody has helped bend that image a little bit. Cody didn't have the greatest image coming out of. He played here in Vancouver, and he was not a popular player. He was not a popular person. He ruffled a lot of feathers, and I know he ruffled a lot of feathers in the Jays organization.
He tried to bill us for a cameo appearance to come on our show, and it's like, well, aren't we doing you a favor helping you?
Is that right?
And I felt like Rocket was Roger was the same way for a bit, and then he was like, oh, wait a second, there's a lot of people watching this when I say and do dumb shit. Oh, sorry, I'll stop doing that right now, and
just don't throw a bat at Piazza again.
Let's just move on.
All set.
Oh man, yeah, I know a lot of characters in the game of baseball. It's a fun guy. You never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah. I think we're losing you again, bud.
Yeah. Can you have him at all anymore?
I don't even think. Yeah. And like I said, Billy, if it's as simple as like you can turn the video feed off at the bottom there and the audio will come through nice and crisp.
Either way.
We're happy just to be chatting, talking baseball with you.
Can you hear me now?
Can too. Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's for now. So clear. You sound like you're right in the room with us.
Yes.
There we go. Beautiful.
Stupid internet.
Love it.
So
man, it is what it is. You never know.
Yeah.
Is there one of those people that you have gotten that wonderful, like, just wow, that was an inspirational moment while you were chit-chatting with them? To your point, I know you've done the kids' books and all the other fun things, but was there that one interview that stood out with whoever it might be that you're like, wow, that one is staying with me for a little bit?
I always love talking to Nick Swisher. The energy is unbelievable. And I feel like whenever someone has that much conviction, when they have that conviction in what they're saying because of the energy, then it helps you believe it even more. So I feel like with him, he brings energy anywhere. So whenever he gives me a response, it sticks with me. Like it feels like, wow, like, yeah, he truly believes what he's saying, not just some blanket state of advice. So he's always encouraging the kids to work hard and all that. And Michael Strahan too, former Giant. we're talking about football now. He's another one who he told me, he's like, how you can't quit, right? It's not if, it's when it's going to happen. You can't think if it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. And I was a young kid at the time, and yeah, exactly. So you remember those things. Even Michael Kay, I know he's your favorite. Michael Kay, he told me, he said, you got to work harder than you think is hard enough. So a lot of these words of wisdom, they stick with you.
I think minor league baseball especially shows you, like, I mean, that's got to be one of the hardest roads to hoe. Like, you're looking 5 or 6 guys ahead of you, and every single one of those guys is better than the best guy you ever played against. And you're like, oh yeah, I gotta climb this mountain every day. Like, if they take a day off, it gives me an opportunity to hit the gym, or go have a really good at bat against a pitcher, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's interesting watching, having 15-year-olds and watching them sort of grind, and interesting when to know, put the pedal down and take it off a little bit. My kids play, multiple sports at high level, and it's hard for you to say, oh, you had a baseball practice and you did a 2.5-hour baseball practice and a 2-hour hockey practice, go do something else. So, we've done a lot of mental stuff. We've had Travis Snyder, and Jay Jackson was another one that we've had on that was real good. Like, if you haven't checked out Jay's
mental
stuff,
part of the game.
Yeah, I think you and him would get along real well based on, sort of what I've seen and heard, and Jay's a cool dude.
Oh yeah,
Jay actually started his own little big deal that we are so happy to help him talk and promote on this whole thing. He's actually developed an app that you can have on your phone that Jason is now a wonderful member of, I believe, because he got a book and everything.
Yep.
Wow. Kids getting access to literal Major League Baseball players that are in his network to be able to have a once a month chit chat as a team, an individual, whatever, who pays for the app kind of thing. But literally putting the power of him for 365 days, a whole baseball year's worth of knowledge in the app on hand, along with that mentoring piece that you can get out of it from his wonderful piece to, like I said, he's got just an incredible network of wonderful people that have the Smile Zone app. Simple as that.
That's good. Yeah, I got to check that out. That's awesome. Yeah, the kids need that. Kids need that wisdom directly from these pros, and that's one of the young got the a gap in information and a gap in just how kids should treat their coach. These have experience because of the Batboy opportunity to learn from pros, but these younger kids that I'm playing with, they're having a tough time here, and they're starting to quit. They're not having fun anymore, and it's a shame because a lot of these pro guys are much more relaxed in their
Jason, what was the stat that Chase shared with us when he was on about 2-3 weeks ago, that at the age 13, 14, like a quarter or only a quarter
it's
of the
more
kids
than that.
actually keep playing baseball, or
70% of kids quit.
Yeah,
70%.
When you cover all sports, it's actually higher than that, which is ridiculous. Wow. I feel like it's such a crucial thing, across the board in every sport. And unfortunately, you're watching these sports across, America and Canada change from what they were to big business. Like even watching the Little League World Series today, big shout out to Canada for making it as far as they did. But you're talking about some parts of Little League that still adhere to, like, the team from Little Mountain is from a very small part of Vancouver. They're a very small team, not any different than, like, we lost to them when they went to nationals and went to the Little League World Series a couple of years ago. And we go up against these juggernauts of all-stars. You've got a team from Chicago or wherever where they're taking from, a couple of thousand kids, maybe even more than that. And these kids are probably, I don't know, if I was to venture a guess, I'd say maybe 60 or 70 kids tried out for their entire, organization. And they've got a team of that goes all this way. So the perfect game stuff and all of that is just murdering baseball. And my hope, as I think we're starting to see a little bit of a turn with guys like Jay and Zach Lutz and A lot of the guys that do this, the heavy mental stuff, at least trying to pull parents' heads from inside their butts and realize that paying 60 grand for travel ball is not as positive as playing in a developmental league with your friends. It's just not. You know.
Yeah. I talked to kids about this. I talked to parents about this. I was at an event, one of these showcases, and this parent told me, yeah, we're completely maxed out on our credit cards. We're in a tough spot, but man, we got to give our kid an opportunity to play the game and get to the next level. I'm like, the kid's 10 years old. I mean, like it makes no sense. These parents, what they're doing, and it's unbelievable. Some of them are out of their minds. But just unfortunately the way things are now.
Yeah, I miss the days where it was literally, pre-cell phone, all this stuff. And maybe I'm just, it's the millennial in me at the age of 40 and Gen X up here with Jason that, oh my God, you knock on your friend's door and you goof around and you say, hey, we're going down to the cul-de-sac. We're going down to the alley, hit the backyard up, whatever it might be. And you just get the gang together and you swing the bat. You play football one day, all these things that just made the reason that I've loved baseball and why I'm doing, even to this day, what I want to be doing around baseball. And you're missing that to that point with that example that you just said there with the 10-year-old. He's 10. Let him play and have fun. It's not about the travel league at that point. You want him to love the game and stay in the game. And if you go to that point where they're going to make it work, I guarantee you that kid will be one of those unfortunate few or many that jumped out of baseball at that point. No
you
fun.
Also don't want the only kids making it through are the ones that can afford it. I mean, you have to think there's a point, and we've all seen this. I have multiple times. I'm sure Craig has. I'm sure you have, Billy. There are kids that, those parents that are saying they have their credit card maxed out. That's a choice they're making. There's a lot of kids who can't afford to play the game, and they would do anything to be able to just play even regular little league, and they can't afford cleats. Their mother or father or whoever can't afford to stop working at 3 o'clock 4 times a week to get the kid to like it's insane the amount of pressure and undue stuff we put onto the kids, but we also do it ourselves. Like, I often say to myself, especially when hockey season's on, I'm like, does anyone work? Like, does anyone that's in this building have a job? Because it took us an hour to get here. We had to be there 2 hours before the game. And it's a 6 o'clock start. So do the math on when I stopped working that day. Like it's bonkers. And we're paying top dollar, more than that, for these kids to, in some cases, chase impossible dreams. Like even when you get to college now, you can get a full ride scholarship. You can be happy as a pig. And then you get right before playoffs and they're like, hey, we're going to replace you with a 24-year-old who has 1 year of eligibility left. So you can hit the bricks. Your scholarship's gone. We're going to bring this guy in so he can pump 13 home runs in 6 games and win us a natty, which isn't development. In case anyone out there is wondering, that's not development.
No, it's not.
Just to make the joke, Jason, at least I hope nobody's watching your LinkedIn while you're hanging out with the kids at the hockey rink on those days where
hey, you keep that on keep that on the down low.
Shh,
always working. Always be closing.
Always be closing. No. So Billy, go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupt with this stupid.
No, it's so true. It's unfortunate. A lot of times they think, oh, more games. That's what they need. But in reality, games should be a smaller percentage. Development needs to be the higher percentage. Even though it's not fun, it's not very attractive. That's what they need to do. I mean, that's just how it is. But what happens is if you don't, you see all these flashy things, you see all the flashy plays on the field with these, ice cream mitts and all this stuff. And that's what happens. You want to be, the kid wants to be out there doing that stuff. And the parents are just blinded by it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that in the midst of this whole thing that like, if you didn't get Mariano Rivera because of something stupid with not being able to get him an ice cream glove, this is the guy that literally catch with a cardboard
cardboard one
for how many years. and it just pains me to know that you could be missing out on somebody. And knowing the people that we tend to talk to and everything like that, they are a lot of the players that had to really, really work at it to get into Major League Baseball. And one of the many reasons why we love having them on the show is we get to tell that mental part of the game that you were chit-chatting on there, Billy.
Right.
And that's just the unfortunate reality of it. And that's what I also just like about how Major League Baseball has evolved to the point where they don't have Like I had friends in the Appalachian League. Okay, great. The Appalachian League is still there, but it's not part of Major League Baseball anymore. And you're not getting as many drafts rounds and all these other things. And they wonder why the game's shrinking. You're maybe doing it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. It's just such a tough thing. You know, there are different things that we can discuss about the state of the game and everything. And you mentioned it too before about affordability and the kids being able to afford to play. And in the Bronx, I mean, you think about the Bronx, these inner city areas, these kids can't afford to play, a lot of them. And that's why, you know, part of Ray Negron's mission, my co-author, part of his mission has been to help find ways to get kids to play in the Bronx. You know, get them off the street into organized baseball and organized sports, and good things are going to happen when they get involved. And you hope they have the right mentor and coach in that environment who can feed into them some good values and wisdom that really just create nice life lessons. We think about the lessons we learn as athletes, as young kids growing up. Baseball teaches us a lot.
Yeah, I think baseballs are actually pretty much the whole, reason I'm not a horrible engineer at the end of the day. And I'm a team player. You talk about these things for my day job and all the things that's like, oh my God, that is all stuff I learned while playing baseball and just goofing around the neighborhood with friends and little league, pick a sport here, there, playing all the way through college. And it's like, you know what, that did work. And to your point, you have to get the kid interested. You have to get them doing it. And then, hey, guess what? Hopefully they love whatever sport they get involved in. And then it becomes that part that you're talking, all these other wonderful mentoring things and intangibles just happen around the game because it's more of the game than a lot of people realize. So very cool. And I guess that's segue points. If you want to start talking a little bit about the work that you are doing, the wonderful inspirational kids books, any of these kind of things, if you want to take that tangent and run with it, Billy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's been an interesting journey because when I got towards the end of my time as a Batboy and working with the team here, I figured that talking to players more and more about the lessons that they've learned in baseball, adversity, how to deal with challenges, made a lot of sense. That stat we brought up earlier about all those kids quitting by age 13, that could have been me too when I was in high school. I didn't have fun anymore playing, and just the environment was pretty toxic. And I had pros supporting me though, saying, "Hey, just gotta grind through it a bit more, and you'll be out of there. You'll be in college." And then I played in college club ball at Montclair State. So, things like that are a lot of things that players go through, kids go through, and unfortunately, some quit before they're able to really reach their peak as a baseball player. So, as I got a bit older, I said, you know what? I have all these interviews from all these players. There's got to be a way where I can transcribe them, put them into a book, somehow put it in another format so that young kids can take a look at this wisdom.
Share the knowledge.
And I had share it. Yeah, exactly. And I had a professor who had written books before. He encouraged me to do it. So I did it. And that was mainly for the older kids, maybe middle school, high school age. And then as I got further along, I realized, okay, we have elementary school kids and middle schoolers who need to hear some of these values. And that's when the kids' books came about, and a leadership guide for the middle schoolers. And that was really the process. I figured, okay, let's have something that applies to all of the ages. And I currently go to some schools in the area here and visit and talk to kids. And it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling to take in a lot of the experiences that I've been through, and now I can pass along to the next generation.
Yeah. How many books do you have? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jason. You first.
Oh, I was going to say there was one particular I wanted to ask, and then you can hit us with how many you've got. The wanna be cool, be a leader. I think that the moniker of that is so amazing. I think that it's one of the hardest things to establish with a young athlete, be it boys are much harder than girls. Girls, if you give them leadership opportunities, they're like, hey, I'm just going to go through that door. I'll see you down the road. Call me when you're done here, Dad. I don't have girls. I know lots of girl dads, Jamie Lawson, some really impressive girl dads, Brad. But where did you come up with that, and what's the basis behind the whole thing?
Yeah, it's interesting because that phrase right there, want to be cool, be a leader. I feel like when you're in middle school, all of a sudden you're trying to fit in and you're trying to be the cool guy. You're trying to, impress everybody. And I said, you know what? It's such a false thing. A lot of the kids who do that don't end up doing a whole lot. So, when I think about want to be cool, be a leader, the cool guys are the ones who you're watching on TV, playing baseball, playing a professional sport. But they had to be leaders in order to get there. They had to do things differently in order to get there. You don't get there by fitting in with everybody else and doing the status quo. So these players put in a lot of extra work, and that's why I said, you know what? If you want to be a cool guy, if you want to be cool, you got to be able to separate yourself, be different, embrace what makes you unique, and that's the message I pass along to those kids.
Perfect. So I see, obviously, like I said, we've done a little homework and chit-chatted and talked and looked at your wonderful plethora of books that you have. How many are you up to at this point?
Right now I have eight total. So I have 6 children's books. The most recent one was with Ray Negron with the Yankees, and it touches on a bit of my journey with Fernando Cruz and Ray's stories of being a bat boy, a mixture of it all, and inspiring the kids to persevere and to keep working hard even when things get tough. And then the other 2 are more of the books for older kids, the middle school, high school age group. So that's been my body of work right there, and we'll see what's next. We'll see if there's another one eventually.
There you go. And Randy, Ray, you actually worked with at the Yankees, correct? Is that how you two met?
So we met through we went to a charity event where we met years ago, and he took a liking to the work I was doing, especially because of the Batboy connection. And once you hear Batboy, and once you realize that I was a former Batboy, it's like a fraternity where he we kind of got along right away, and we just kept in touch. So he's been with the Yankees for a long time. I'm not with the Yankees, but he just brought me in, and we've been talking a lot about different concepts and writing the book together. And so we spent a lot of time at Yankee Stadium together.
That's really cool. And seems like a wonderful gentleman to be, hanging out with, goofing around, talking baseball.
Yeah.
So cannot argue about
the
that
stories,
one bit, right?
Oh man, he's met every celebrity over the past, 5 decades you could imagine. Just the dinner with Frank Sinatra and Frankie Valli, who he's friends with, and all these different people.
Wow,
it's unreal the kinds of people he's come across throughout the years.
So are you still doing some stuff with minor league baseball would be my bigger question now that you mentioned how you got your start and you wander around, do the books, all these other wonderful things. Is there something that I'm assuming minor league baseball holds a special part in your heart?
Oh, I always love the minor leagues, and I try to go to a few games a year at different levels, and I haven't been able to get out to the Yankees AA team in Somerset yet this year. Usually I try to get to a game or two, but I got to a couple indie ball games, and we'll see. There's still a little bit of time left, a few weeks, so we'll see if I'm able to catch a game. But been focusing a lot on the Yankees and Mets, to be honest. A lot of the big league teams here in the area, and 2 very different stadiums and 2 unique places. So it's definitely that's a big question right there.
I've only been to Old Yankee. I went to Old Yankee when I was young.
Okay.
So I haven't been to New Yankee, and I've never been to the Mets. I know people have been to both. And I'm interested to hear what you say, because these are all people that aren't from New York that have gone, and I've received the feedback from them. So what do you, and there's
no animosity.
The new Yankee
pros and cons.
It's interesting. The new Yankee Stadium is strictly baseball. Okay, if you're going there, you're going to watch a baseball game. There's going to be a lot of energy. It's loud. There's really not much else to do aside from watch that baseball game. Even outside the ballpark, it's there's a couple sports bars that are popular, but aside from that, you're going there to watch the Yankees play in that loud stadium. Citi Field's more of that family-friendly, open vibe, more relaxed, I guess you could say. It's still New York, so there's energy, but I feel like Citi Field is, just the layout's a little bit different, and it's a bit more open outside as well, where the parking situation is. There's more parking lots rather than the garages, so it's unique. They're both unique. A lot of fans prefer Citi Field because of the family friendliness and all, but hey, if you want to win games, you might want to go to the Bronx.
There it is, especially right now.
Especially right now,
No dings to the Mets fans that might happen to be listening, including our
no, we love them too.
We love them too. always in our wonderful friends in our chats, our buddy Cullen, who is the database boy for the NEPTA. I don't know if you've seen that Twitter account or not, Billy, but
No.
not enough people talk about our friend, and he picks a guy every day, every week, everything like that, and they pick a guy that's in that kind of what's the other Hall of Pretty Good guy is the other one.
Hall of Pretty Good.
Oh, yes.
He got out there a little bit ahead of that whole thing, but the idea is not enough people talk about so and so, and like a good one for the Yankees fans is not enough people talk about Bernie Williams to me as being looking on the outside. Great gentleman, wonderful musician that people forget about too, and an incredible center fielder for a very, very talented run for the Yankees. But that would be the basis of one of his articles for One Day on Twitter. And Cullen is one of the wonderful people that is on ours. He runs the database tool that you can search through all the Yankees. You can search through all the Blue Jays, the Mets on that for every day they've ever done one of those posts. I would highly recommend it to anybody that's a wonderful baseball fan, period, because you get some deep dives. And then every Tuesday, he just tries to rage bait and everybody. So he gets awesome. One weird one every week. But
no, that's great.
So growing up, who was your favorite player, I guess? Because obviously if you're as embedded as a baseball fan as you are, I'm sure there was somebody that was near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, I'm a pretty basic guy. I got to go with Jeter. So Jeter's that's the guy right there. Pretty basic as a as a Yankee fan. I caught the end of his career, so he was more of my guy during the last few years there, and I'm a younger guy, so I can't remember a whole lot back then. I only went to the old stadium one time. Yeah. So it's it's some good players. The core four, really being able to watch them towards the end there and acknowledge how good they were. That was a pretty awesome thing to see the farewell tour of a lot of those players. Seeing Pettit and Mariano and then the end of Posada as well. That was pretty cool to watch. And then kind of pass a torch to the newer generation of them. You got Judge now and these guys who are really establishing the new core of Yankees with some of these younger players right now, and that's exciting to watch as well.
Yeah, my nephew is 1,000 billion times % over on Ben Rice, I mean, and that's because Ben Rice is he messaged him with a rookie card and sent him an actual envelope with his card in it, with his rookie card in it, and one of Ben Rice, and Ben Rice being the wonderful gentleman that he is, he returned that card to my nephew, and it obviously won him over in like 2 seconds. And seeing him do what he's been doing this year, maybe not as much of late, but he'll get hot again, I'm sure. Run that on this season.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's another good one out there, and there's some good guys, some exciting ones to watch. There's Lord up here now and Spencer Jones, so I feel like they're going to play a big role in that core of younger talent. Cam Schlittler's another one. I mean, might be a Cy Young Award winner. I don't know, between him and Cease.
As I say, how'd that interview with Cease go? Did you ask him?
No, I didn't ask him about that, but he's cool though. He came right over, got to chat with him for a minute or two, and that's what it's about. Just talking to some of these guys and get some wisdom for the younger generation.
And he had an art gallery event this week in Toronto, right, Dylan?
Yeah, it went over real well actually. He's he painted a painting for John Schneider when he came to the Jays, and I guess he's done a few for some other players, and they auctioned one off. And rather than taking it, they donated the painting to that art gallery, the Toronto Art Gallery. So it's a cool story. He seems like a very cool dude. I think like you were talking about, Billy. I mean, be a Yankees fan or not, that Yankees team back then with Jeter and A-Rod. I mean, it was Posada and all those guys. I mean, it was the who's who of baseball for so long. It's interesting now to think. So, like looking around the league, like who do you think are the biggest leaders pushing? I mean, obviously Aaron Judge, again, anybody who says they don't like Aaron Judge is lying. I mean, there's not much to not like about this.
You don't like facing him maybe, but as a person,
you don't like him giving up 400-foot home runs to the guy, but other than that, he seems like an awesome dude. Or
you just do what the Blue Jays do and don't pitch to him, and we'll be all set.
So who do you think are guys around the league right now that are sort of pushing up? I feel like the MLB has been on a bit of a low. with character guy. Like even I find the Dodgers to be so characterless. I feel like they've even sucked the soul out of Mookie and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I was about to say Mookie. I was about to say, yeah, it's interesting. I was going to say Freddie Freeman is like Mookie. A good attitude, good character kind of guy. But honestly, a lot of these players who are humble, who are good guys, are oftentimes pretty quiet. They're more that silent leader in the clubhouse, and they're well respected with their team. They're well respected. They keep the clubhouse in order. But a lot of times they aren't the loud vocal leader that you'd expect this captain figure to be. And that's how Judge is too. Judge is kind of that silent leader. He helps guys out in the clubhouse, does what he has to do, but he's not someone who's a big mouth.
What do you think about a guy like Ernie Clement?
I think he's a great player as well. I almost got him the other day. But he was running around. He was running around signing autographs. So, but I think he's a solid player as well. You know, I'm sure he's a guy who the players respect in that clubhouse too. And it comes in all different shapes and sizes, leaders do. And that's the interesting thing, is finding that right balance, because that's what it's all about in baseball.
I think our dugout leader, and we think we proved that unfortunately this year when he was hurt, was Alejandro Kirk, is the heartbeat for the Toronto Blue Jays. And
he's unbelievable.
What a wonderful guy. And the Maple Beef is always finding a way to chip into something. And man, has he been on a tear lately, Jason.
So I got one last Yankees question before we move ourselves into, is George Lombard Jr. for real?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely believe so. And, you know, they're making a big deal about the errors the last few days. I'm not concerned at all. He'll be fine. He's making incredibly hard plays look easy, and some of the simple ones are getting booted, but he'll be fine. And he just, honestly, the way he's able to go the opposite field, we needed a guy like that. The Yankees needed a guy who could just get the ball the other way, hit a single, get on base, and also hit for power. I mean, he's one of those guys who I feel like will develop really well. And the one thing I really like about him is his dad played the big leagues. He's been in the clubhouse before for a very long time. He's got a maturity level to him that not as many players have at this point in time when they're this young. So that's the thing I'm encouraged by. I feel like that'll really help in his development as a player. And he seems like a natural. He seems like he's used to this because he really is used to it. He's been here forever. He's been up his whole life.
That's really cool. That's the part of his story I don't think a lot of people remember, that he does have that family gene to the whole thing. It's not just, hey, here he is.
Right. I asked because I like him. The only other thing I would be interested to hear about, us, because we don't get to talk to a ton of Yankees fans, is what do you think about Caballero and the hijinks and trying to block guys from being able to see balls, and like where I come from.
He's one of those guys. Yeah.
Where I come from, the next time you're at bat, you're eating something with a 9 on the front of it and a 4 or a 5 on the back of it, right in the middle of the jersey with the goofy eye black. Maybe knock it off. But
hey, I encourage teams to do that. You know, I feel like teams aren't doing that as much. They won't hit a guy on purpose. You know, but hey, you know, if you want to do that, go do it, and then maybe someone will learn their lesson. But I'd say with him in particular, he's one of those natural cases of, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you hate him.
Yeah, there you go.
When he was on the Rays, the Yankees, the Yankees didn't like him. Yankee fans didn't like him when he was on Tampa, but then he's here now. We love him because
he's the Sean Avery
love
of
to have
the
Yankees.
A guy.
Yeah. I'd say you love a guy like that. You know, you want like a little pest out there. You want him to. You want some gamesmanship going on, and you want to put pressure on the other team. And that's what he does. And he's a good role player. He's able to get in there and play a few different positions, come off the bench, whatever he needs to do, steal a bag. So I think you need a guy like that. But, yeah, if we face him with Tampa even more, it would have been it's frustrating, sometimes facing a guy like that.
There's always one guy like that on every team. I'm like, oh my God, Ben Revere did that when we grabbed him in 2015. Jason, when he was just driving everybody nuts, and that was
covering guys' eyes.
The whole reason I think we were as good as we were, and we took the Royals to the brink within 90 feet in 2015 to go to the World Series. So it is what it is. So, Billy, it's been a pleasure. I want to make sure we give you your shameless self-promoting bit like we always do for everybody on this show, but we got to do our game that we always wrap up on, and it's called Picks to Click. The whole point of the game is that we've been keeping really good score over the whole season with me, Jason, and Liz, who is not with us this evening, obviously, and then our guest spot. We're just trying for bragging rights, make sure we can shame each other all off season, those kind of stupid things. But the idea is who performed the best in Toronto Blue Jays baseball this past week. So from today to past Wednesday. And then we'll do for this week, and you'll be the one that picks for the guest spot. But I'm going to read off 4 names, and we're going to let you be the one that votes on these 4 baseball players for the Toronto Blue Jays on who had the best week in Blue Jays baseball leading up to today. And like I said, it's been a popularity contest just as much as anything else. And we're not going to go.
It's just fun. You're not going to get docked marks for if you pick somebody just because you like them.
Correct.
Okay.
Or like them the least.
And that's the whole point. It's fun and shenanigans, right? So Charles McAdoo was one of the picks. Kazuma Okamoto was another. Alejandro Kirk, and then Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who barely got into games this week.
Yeah.
He was hurt.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 players. I need you to pick one.
You know what? I'm going to go with McAdoo because I feel like he's going to be a guy who's a very underrated player for you. I feel like he's going to do some good things in your uniform, and he got to say hello real quick the other day, and I feel like he's going to be a sleeper guy who's really going to help out a lot.
Career. When the Blue Jays traded for him, I'm on record, and I'm so happy that I get to throw this back in every time he has a great week. That when we traded Isaiah Kiner-Falefa a few years ago to the Pittsburgh Pirates, McAdoo was the guy we got back in return, and I was like, "Ooh, there's the sleeper." That guy, I saw him hit a home run right when I was looking up the highlights of him at the minor league AA level at that time for the Altoona Curve, and I was like, "There's something there." I like this swing. He's got a great build. There's a lot to build off of there. I'm not right very often, but that one I have been right so far.
Yeah, he's a solid dude. He's a big dude. He's definitely a strong guy, and I feel like he'll be someone in that uniform for quite a bit of time and impress some people. Definitely.
Me too.
Son of an NBA basketball player, correct?
Yeah.
I believe that's true. Yeah. So, but Jason, that puts you in a tie for the lead with the Lizinator. So, me and the guest spot tied for the following spots. So, on that note, I am going to let our guests go first. So, Billy, I got to let you, pretend you got a Blue Jay hat on for 5 seconds here. And
boy.
I won't let anybody know about it. I promise, because you can't see you right now.
You can't curse anybody or anything like that. This is just fun.
So who do you going to have the best week in Blue Jay baseball between now and our next recording next Wednesday evening?
Now in the next recording, let's see.
1 week
I'm gonna go 1 week of baseball, huh? 1 week of baseball. I'm gonna go with. Oh boy, let's see. Maybe we'll go with. Well, he's back, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you on that one. What you got?
Vladdy's back. Is Vladdy
is back? Vladdy is back.
So Vladdy, is he a bit slumping a bit?
Vladdy.
Yeah,
it's not
a little bit different. You know what? I'm gonna slump this week, and he'll get these going. And
he has looked like he's hitting the ball square this past week.
All right, so hopefully we're getting there. We'll see in a week.
Vladdy's gonna go for the pick. Unfortunately, he's not playing against you guys. That seems always light a fire under his ass.
Yeah, no, it's okay with us. It is what it is.
Jason, you were the victor last week. You get to go next. Who do you got?
Wow. I feel like it's been yesterday was an interesting game. The Royals are a weird team. They're hot right now, but they're not a very good baseball team. So it's kind of weird watching baseball. Nothing's really
nothing right now.
Nothing's really happening. You're like, oh God. But I'm going to take a chance, and I am going to take Brett Bateman.
You scooped me. That was where I was going.
I would go if I was. I mean, yeah, I like the kid. Like him a lot, actually.
You talk about somebody that has all the right tools. Go ahead, Billy.
No, he's very interesting. It was, I saw him play, and I feel like he's another solid guy right there. So you guys have a really solid team.
It's
Really solid
amazing
team.
now we just can't find that clutch hit is the Blue Jays problem. And
It's
you look
coming.
at what the stats are, it's insane. We're leading we're in the top 3 of batting and hitting and all these other things, but you can't score a damn run.
Too many singles. Too many singles.
Yeah.
Can't get the clutch hit to
That's
bring the
baseball
guy in
right
once we get
there.
him on
That
base.
is baseball.
Yep. I think the baseball
You
guys
seen
are still unfortunately hanging out with us in the wrong category from the World Series last year, but that's besides the point.
Oh man, that was rough. I came and talk about that with you guys. Oh man,
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
is
It's
what it is.
PTSD moment. It's too soon.
Yeah, too soon.
At least until the
Oh,
point where
gosh.
it's 2026, completely flips it horribly and is like, oh well, that we can hang our hat on now. We got to reverse it. So I guess
Right.
I am gonna go with Nathan Lucas because I was like you, Jason. Last night, he was within a few inches of really making that 9th inning very, very, very intriguing last night for the Blue Jays against the Royals. Blue Jays down 5-1 at the time. He comes up with a big single and was tagged out at second, but scored 2 runs to make it 5-3 in the 9th with 2 outs. And that was bringing the top of the lineup up, Jason. That was the part that was slightly heartbreaking about it. And unfortunately, literally caught him by a footstep.
Yeah.
So now, because Liz is out this evening, we need to pick the default pick for who was the worst everyday performer in the last week, and it looks like it is Miles Straw, and that's a solid pick with how he was doing.
He's been he's
weeks
set
before.
to get hot. That guy.
It's been fun to see him actually roaming the outfield every day again because his defense is just perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
That's
Billy,
beautiful.
I'm going to turn the microphone over to you. This is where you get to have the fun of telling us all about you, where the Blue Jays fans and the rest of our wonderful nation here can find your work and whatever you would like to talk about here to wrap the show so it's all you.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to get my camera back on for a little bit here at the end. Hopefully it'll stay that way. But no, I really appreciate it, guys. Really, my platform is Billy the Batboy on all platforms, all social media, and the books and all that are sold on Amazon, strictly on Amazon. So if you type in Billy the Batboy or Billy Pinckney, it'll come right up. And yeah, it's just a mission of mine, right? To inspire the next generation, help other people, be kind, be a light in the lives of others. That's really what it's all about. And it's been exciting. So been going to a lot of Yankees and Mets games, and hopefully we'll finish the year strong over here in New York.
Yep. It's going to be a fun, intriguing end of the season, I think, of the American League. This month, I think everybody's just going to beat each other up for September they can get to October baseball. And I don't think anything's safe. The Rays don't feel like they're super comfortable after we beat them up, and then you guys went on that tear against us. The wild card is a complete just whatever the hell is going to happen today.
Look at Boston. Boston's unbelievable. The kind of run they've been on, and after the whole situation, their coaching staff leaving, and now they're in a pretty nice position. So between the race in the AL East and then injuries, hopefully guys stay healthy, because this is really a time where players start to go down a bit and they're overworked, overused. So we'll see. A lot of bullpens are overworked. Baseball happens in the weeks.
Yep. And Jason, unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of that right now with basically being down 2 starters right now after Shane Bieber unfortunately went down in the IL yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's been all year. You look at the team that we have on our current IL for the starting pitching.
Yeah.
That's better than most starting pitching rotation on some teams.
Crazy. Well, when's Tyone coming back? I saw him he was throwing the other day.
He's going to be pitching in Buffalo on Friday. So the idea, I think, that would be getting him on point to hopefully return next week. That would be really, knock on wood, kind of like level to keep the Blue Jays moving. Because right now it's a haphazardry of everything that we're being able to piece together for this pitching rotation and offense, really, at the end of the day, too, Jason. It's been crazy. Jason, any words of wisdom before I wrap it up?
Not really. Great to have you, buddy. Great to, learn more about your story. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, we can have you back on when the Jays and Yankees are looking to have a wild card game or a playoff game against each other. And then we can really get into it.
It'll be interesting. It's going to get, down to the wire here soon, and hopefully it's a tight race. I mean, it's always exciting, and that's why you always got to play each game like it's the last game, like it's the World Series, because you get down to the end, just like the Yankees Blue Jays last year in the standings. They were one game apart, a half a game apart.
Tiebreaker. That was the only reason that you guys played
the
that round against the Red Sox and had to beat them up. And I honestly, if you guys fought us right off the bat, I would have been very curious how that series would have went. I think it would have been another 7-game battle.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. I think the Red Sox tired you guys out a little bit in that 5-gamer. So it is what it is. That's baseball.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
There was also a couple of years ago where the Yankees literally beat us by 1 game for the wild card, and we were not in the playoffs because of that.
Wow. Wow.
It's amazing how crazy that last day of the season can be. And this year, I think, is making up to be very similar to, remember the wild card Wednesday where the Tampa Bay Rays snuck up on the Yankees, and it was the reason the Red Sox even made the playoffs that year. Rays weren't even in.
Wow.
They just had to beat the Yankees that day, and they came back and beat Mariano Rivera to allow the Red Sox to sneak into the playoffs there. Didn't go anywhere, but that's how it went.
Yeah. Oh, man. We'll see. A lot of people will go on this emotional high and low as we get into the playoffs. Everyone takes it hard.
Yep.
There it is.
Oh,
but
man.
Cannot say enough great things about you, Billy. We appreciate you having on tonight. And obviously, like Jason said, we'll have to figure that one out for a future one.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure to be here, guys. I appreciate you having me, and we'll keep in touch.
Yep.
Good deal.
Definitely.
So if you want to hang out for like 2 seconds after I wrap it up here, I have something I just want to make sure we tell you before we round to Raw. So Blue Jays fans, Yankees fans, Mets fans, I guess I were catering to everybody this evening in the American League East, or at least the East Coast. Thank you very much for listening. A couple hundred of you still hanging out with us here in the end of the show. Appreciate y'all. We're going to have a great time. Obviously, next week, we're going to have our buddy Craig Ballard of Jays Daily is going to be on with us to talk all things Blue Jays in the playoff push here for the month of September. And we're going to talk just whatever the hell we feel like it. So make sure you join us. We're here every week. Hit us up on social media at BirdwatchingGC, and we will talk to you all next week. Go Blue Jays. Cheers.